Welcome. Today's video, I'm going to be doing some suspension setup. So when you get a new bike, one of the first things you want to do really is get your suspension dialed in, but that generally involves riding it. So before you do that though, there's a few steps I would recommend. Now this is the bike I'm going to be looking at today. It's the NDURO Flyon by Haibike. It's not my bike, it's a friend's. He's struggling getting his suspension set up on his new bike, so he's asked for a second set of eyes. We're roughly the same weight, so I'm going to give it some tuning and see what he thinks and go for a ride on it this afternoon. The suspension on this model is the Fox Factory 36s and also the Fox Factory X2. So both of these have low speed compression and high speed compression, and low speed rebound and high speed rebound. On the shot you'll find with a 3 and a 6 mm Allen key to set those. On the forks you can set your low speed compression indicated by the LSC there, and the outer is the high speed compression. And then to get to the rebound we need to undo this knob and we can play with those. So that's what we're working with today. The first things first, get the base settings from the fork and the shock manufacturer. So here we have the settings just to make sure. They do change from year to year now and again. So the settings he's got at the minute, he's got 3 clicks of low speed rebound, 3 clicks of high speed rebound, and he's also got a pressure of 70. So the pressure's a bit low, close. The pressure should be about 78 around there for his weight, and my weight, we're about the same weight anyway. So what we're going to do is we've reset everything back to 0, compression and rebound, and now what I'm going to do is empty the fork of the pressure. And then what I'm going to do is put a recommended pressure, which is going to be about 80 psi. Every time you put some pressure in the fork, you need to cycle the fork. So every like 10-15 psi, just to do 10 slow compressions. What that does is it equalizes the pressure between the positive and the negative chambers, and it doesn't get a build up within the negative chamber. So that's always a good thing to do. Right, so let's crack on with that. So we've got the fork emptied of air. We'll also give it a little press to make sure it pushes it out. Don't forget, when you're putting pressure in these, you've also got the air pressure within the tube as well. So just compensate for that, an extra 5 psi perhaps. Right, so let's put in a little bit. So at the moment the fork is going to be pretty fast. We need to set the sag up on this. Obviously I don't have the backpack on, so I'm going to have to adjust mentally for that, because obviously I'm not carrying that extra weight. So we're just going to use the O-ring adjuster here. I know this fork's a bit dirty, Simon, shame on you. Push them down to there. And what you need to do is either get a friend to hold your front wheel, or to lean yourself up against a wall or a bike stand. Stand in the position like this. And just put your weight on and see how much that pushes down. Let's try that. So this is how much sag is set there. I'd say that's probably about 20% maybe. So they say less than 30%. 20% is probably what the pros ride, quite hard, fast. So on Fox, you generally got your high speed compression being the outer and the low speed being the inner. So high speed compression is for your bigger hits like square edges or big drops, and it controls how much force is required to push through the top end of the travel. Well, the end of the stroke, shall we say. And the low speed is for G-outs and small bumps, and controls how hard it's pushed for the start of the travel. So clockwise means it's fully open. So what we're going to do is 15 clicks to start with. So as you turn, you actually do feel 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then same with the low speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's the compression, which just goes clipped in. I always do the outer first and then the inner. And then we'll go on to the rebound. The rebound now, I'm going to give it 4 clicks of rebound. By turning it clockwise, that adds rebound, so that slows the fork down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the fork at recommended settings, thereabouts. So I'm going to do the shock, and then I'm going to take it out for a spin, take some tools in the backpack, hit some rocky stuff and also some smooth stuff, see how it performs. But it's not my bike, I've never ridden it, and make some adjustments on the fly. Right, so we're going to release the pressure from the shock and put everything back to factory settings. Again, it's important you do this quite slowly, not to mess up your chi, positive and negative, or whatever it's called. Put this on, and then we need a 3mm and a 6mm to set these, and we'll set them back to default. The pressure that's going back in this, again, we'll put the pressure when everything's off, will be the weight of the rider in PSI from pounds. So Simon's weight is about 87 kilograms, which is about 185 pounds. We'll maybe add a couple in there just for the pressure on the tube, so I'll go for about 185, 190. I think the maximum volume of this shock, the amount of pressure you can put in is 300 psi, so I'll never put more than that in this particular shock. Check your shock manufacturer's manual for how much you can put in. Some of the old RockShox ones you put 350 in for the bigger guys. So nice and slow, just let this pressure out. Give it a quick cycle as well, I'll do that. Yeah, don't rush it. Get your slow compression. You can see the volume going up and down and the shock pumping and doing that. So one of the complaints my friend had about his shock was that it was very wallowy and kind of like eating the jump. So just checking his settings, he's got low speed and high speed rebound on full. So full rebound means it will slow the shock or fork down as much as possible. So Simon's an expert jumper, and that's not really what he wants, because that means when he goes for the takeoff, he's just going to eat the takeoff. There's going to be no pop for the jump, so he's just going to go pretty much. If he's compressing the bike to get that pop, it's just going to compress, and by the time he's done the jump, the bike won't be fully back out. So I actually ended up putting 195 in there. The reason I did that is because I want it to be about 190. When I take the hose off, I'm going to lose a tiny bit of pressure. So hopefully that'll just be around 190. The weight indicator is 185. So we'll have to pop in extra 5 psi. And now we just need to set the sag, and then we'll make the adjustments on the dial. Important to do the sag first, because otherwise you're going to get extrinsic factors, i.e. these, adjusting your sag for you, which you don't want. Alright, let's do that. I'm going to do the rebound first. You'll find with Fox stuff, usually the compression's blue and the rebound's red. So I'm going to do the low speed rebound and the high speed rebound using the 3 and a 6mm. The 3 just goes in there. And then we're going to do, let's say, 8 low. So 1 clockwise, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 high speed and the 6mm. 1, a bit stiff that one. 2, get it actually click. 3. Okay, and now compression. I'm going to go 11 to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I say 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's our base set, hopefully. And we just need to ride it now, see how it feels. It's just base setting, so you need to ride it, take some tools in the first few rides and adjust on the goat, which is what I'm going to do now. Just need to swap those shady flat pedals for proper pedals with clips. Oh yeah, and then we'll go and ride it. Let's go. done a little descent there. It seems to use 90% of the rear travel, 50 the front. I wonder, we need to make some changes. Battery on the GoPro. There's the suspension settings. I need to just touch low speed. Sorry, high speed rebound. But just back from a ride, overall the settings seemed okay. Did a few minor adjustments while I was out there. So I added some high speed rebound to the rear shock because it was just kicking slightly on the jumps. And I took one click of low speed compression off. And I also, on the forks, I took 2 clicks of low speed compression and 1 speed of high speed compression just to get the fork moving a bit more fluid, and that was it. Job done. Let's see what he thinks.